You get more fluff and puff in him.
You know that rapper that did "Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay."
I hate that fucking song so goddamn much.
Yeah, apparently he murdered his cousin. Now he's in prison.
Sorry, what?
Oh, that's such a great start. People.
Sorry, can we just rewind that for like, a bit and just lead up to it as opposed to nothing? Hey, you know that guy did that really shitty song back in the day? He just straight murdered a dude.
He got his cred somehow. Holy shit.
Oh my
He pissed for whip his cousin.
Oh, no.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus. I just said Cheez-Its on accident.
Damn, Dave, that was an evil laugh last season.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? We're not talking.
Did he tell him his song fucking trash and then he got shot? Like, what the fuck happened?
No shit,
Probably.
yeah. What's the story on this, Jeb?
I mean, it basically just dropped. He just straight
like
up murdered his cousin.
He just dropped like that corpse. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I was just on Facebook and shit, and I just looked it up. Like, I was like, "There's no fucking way." Oh shit!
What's that dude's name?
He did.
Silent.
Salento?
Silent what?
No,
Oh, Silent.
I think silent with an O.
Salento. Okay, yeah.
Atlanta
He
rapper
just-
charged with
arrested for
murdering his
allegedly
cousin.
killing his cousin. Basically found shot to death.
Jesus
The
Christ.
Whip
yeah.
and Nene rapper is now charged with murder.
Yeah, man, arrested Monday in DeKalb County. Man, I look like Donkey Kong County. Like, I don't know why, or Donkey Kong Country or some shit. Charged with murder and him shooting death of his coven. Authorities said, is there a story to this, though? Like, Ricky Lamar Hawk, 23, was arrested. Yes, we just said that. Fucking goddammit. AJC News. You suck.
The video shows several cars fleeing from the scene at high speeds. They don't really have a motive right now. At least I don't think they do.
Police respond to a shots fired call January 21st around 3:30 a.m. Because that's when all the craziness happens at 3:30 a.m. The Atlanta Journal
But it
Constitution.
does say allegedly killing his cousin.
Okay.
Allegedly.
You have to. Okay. You have to always put allegedly until they're actually charged because it's the whole idea of innocent before guilt. You're innocent under the. Oh god, it's innocent before guilty.
Innocent before booty. We got it.
Yeah, so proven guilty.
Over here, to
So
respond.
you have to always go allegedly until you're actually literally proven the murder.
Responding officers were able to gather video from multiple residence security cameras. According to the incident report, the video showed several cars fleeing from the scene. So there's probably like an audience like, "Oh shit! Oh, the cops are coming!" And he just fucking took off. And the footage captured.
And that and someone got murdered in gunshots probably make them run too.
Yeah, footage captured at least one gunshot. 8 bullet casings were collected at the scene. Hopefully they weren't just.
Yeah.
Well, I won't say hopefully, but like most likely it'd be really embarrassing if like someone shot 8 times and only one bullet was actually fucking made. Or
That's
whatever.
actually way more common than you think.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I
it's
like
for
that he
sure.
is just
Well, no,
quietly trying to say like I hope he doesn't have a bad shot.
That's
No,
what I'm
the
saying.
thing about, like,
it's a bad way to
The
go
thing
out.
about if you've ever been to a gun range or if you ever just see kind of like soldiers talking about stories and stuff like that, unless you're a sniper, you're rarely doing the one shot, one kill. It's usually in a situation, especially if you're like either you're just scared or you're nervous. You usually it's gonna be like you'll unload like half a clip and maybe you'll get one. That's why police shootings are such a huge deal because it's not like, oh, I shot the bad guy once in the face, he's dead. No, I probably fired about 800, like I probably fired about 20 bullets, and I might have missed all of them because like bullets don't go straight; they go every which direction. That's why your reticule's in a video game is a fucking circle. It can go anywhere within that circle because it depends on how it exits the fucking chamber. Like unless you're up close, like point blank to the person's head, you're gonna miss a lot more shots. I do recommend people do go to a gun range just so you can understand.
Just so when you
how-
commit murder, you do it.
No, I think it's important for people to understand because people still think guns are toys, and they watch a lot of the video games and a lot of the movies, and it's like they don't really understand how weird it is to hold one. Like you're holding something that is extremely fucking dangerous, and it's like you get this. I don't know. It's this humbling feeling of like, holy shit, this
Yeah.
isn't a fucking.
This
toy.
is a life taker. There's no
Yeah.
other thing that this is used for other than taking the life of somebody else.
Oh, if I get in my feelings and I start thinking about like at the gun range, going, man, I could have fucked up and taken myself or someone else out, man.
So one of the things that really is talked about a lot when it comes to people like committing crimes and fucking up their entire careers and everything, over here it says Hawk rose to fame as a teenage rap sensation 2015, and his Watch Me video has been viewed 1.8 billion times on YouTube. What does that do to somebody at a small age? Because like I could have sworn he was pretty fucking young. I think it said up here. Let's see. Nope. it's
23.
23. Okay. Yeah. And there he is, yeah, right here. But no, it's like, do you think that really like kind of led to him just being so like uncontrollable as far as like emotions goes? Like maybe just kind of lost.
I
his
doubt
fucking
it. There are a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds that become famous. It must just be a situation where it's like he had his one hit wonder, and just kind of faded away because it's like they say whip and nay nay. I'm sure he might have other songs. Not like anyone's ever gonna fucking hear them, but it's just a situation where it's like, yeah, you fucked up life choices and fucked up situations, and it just led to him just shooting. Like, we don't know the reason. Maybe there was money involved. Maybe the person stole. Maybe he was defending himself. Like, you don't really know exactly why. So it's like oh, 100% the shooter's fault. Like, maybe it was self-defense. Maybe it does have an issue with drugs or something. You know,
Yeah,
you don't really know until after it's already said and done.
It says in recent months he's been arrested multiple times. He was arrested twice in 1 week in August on domestic violence and gun charges in California. Late October, he was arrested and booked into a DeKalb jail on charges that he was speeding at more than 140 miles. Damn, was he trying to get killed 140 miles per hour? Have you ever been in a car that's going like
his
80
life
miles
is
per hour?
falling apart. He's most likely on drugs, where it's just like, yeah, and the fame will do that, where it's like, hey, you become famous, you have access to alcohol and drugs and women and all this shit, and you don't really know how to deal, especially at a young age. Like, yeah, 20 people are like, oh, well, 23 is not that young. It's like, it kind of is. You really don't, like, especially if you just get thrust into fame, you don't really have that time to emotionally grow. You're just going to go do the crazy party lifestyle. And once the 15-minute fame runs out, you're still in that mode, but you don't have as much glitz and glamour or money coming in.
Yeah, exactly. And no, by the way, too, because I know Blaze Michael's not used to the after hours, but no, like sometimes, especially lately, we don't actually spend a whole lot of time in the after hours as we used to. I used to be there like literally 1 minute after the show, and I'm just kind of like, eh. So like, even though you're probably joking, I do feel bad that like, you know, a couple of you guys are kind of left in there by yourselves for so very long, but it's really just a hang out. I mean, you guys can even go in there like during the show. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so it's just one of those things. But this next Saturday, hopefully you go over there again, because I will be there right after the show. But that's not something I can actually pull off every single Saturday, though. But we will try our best to do that. And by the way, hopefully you stay in there all late throughout the night, because that show's going on to like 6 in the fucking morning, and then it happened again like the next day without us. So yeah, hopefully you guys are having fun in there. Glad that you guys are actually getting to know each other a lot better. I'm like adding words, by the way, that completely fuck up my sentence. Have you noticed that?
Yes, you do that a lot, usually when you're rambling or stumbling or trying to buy for time.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even, because, dude, by the way, tonight we do not have to buy for time at all. We got so many fucking topics. I'm almost like, damn, we got to talk fast. We can actually get right.
Okay, fuck the murder. Okay, move on to comic books.
Yeah. No shit, right? It's like, dude, now I know what it feels like to be that person at the news station who's just like, so, you know, like, the football team, something won, and by the way, baby died.
Week, several murders downtown Manhattan. Meanwhile, look at this doll.
Marissa says, but you guys, nobody does it unless a chat tech all the time. No, here's the thing. Maybe that's the case.
Gary's there.
No, because like in the beginning, maybe that's the case, but I gotta tell you, dude, like once, sir, I don't want to say the person is, because I don't want to advertise this person being in there, or else everyone's gonna flock to the after hours. If you guys are curious who this person is, then go ahead and come, but don't come just for that.
Okay,
surprise.
you can tell them it's me.
No, actually, you are live for the party too, so I would actually say that. It's just not a lot of people know us as well, which they will get to, you know, as we continue on doing these raids and everything, and doing the pre-shows, but. The thing is, like, there's people that come in later on, like, fucking, like, at midnight, and that's where everyone's like, oh my god, let's watch movies with this person, blah, blah, blah. So I fully know what that shit is, and it's like, that's cool, I hate it, I'm jealous, but at the same time, like, I can just go and take a big shit while you guys are hanging out, you know.
I'll be honest, unless it's a movie I'm interested in, I check out like a son of a bitch when y'all start watching our movies.
Dude, by the way, too, I just hate, and here's the thing, this is not just for the actors, this is for everything. I really fucking hate it when everyone's watching a movie and everyone's trying to out-joke each other. I cannot stand that shit. Like,
I don't know. Hey, if they're all terrible at jokes, sure, but sometimes you have some of the best shit going on. When you have some good material and everyone's able to kind of do some shit, that's some fun ass shit.
No, like we've been in situations, or even like when something's good, and we won't say the person's name, but it's like there's been times where, you know, I'll do the impersonation of the voice. It's just like, oh, dude, that fucking mirror, bro. Oh, dude, like that's like fucking, it means so much right there. Just that fucking frame right there, bro. Like, don't you understand? It's like I'm trying to like digest the movie. And you're, like, forcing me to understand this, like, cinematic fucking whatever the shit thing is. And I'm like, are we even watching it now? Or is this, like, a fucking assignment? Like, I can't stand that shit.
No, I can get when it's bad, it's the worst. But when it's great, it's like, you have a lot of fun. At the end of the day, it's like, back when we used to do, like, movies all the time, it was, yeah, you pick kind of a shittier movie no one gives a shit about. Because you just want to talk shit, hang out with your friends. And, hey, oh, there's something in the background. Hey, we kind of laugh at that for a couple seconds. But you just talk about random bullshit, you know?
Yeah.
I saw the movies as like a set piece, like Alan was describing. Like most of the time, we have our own separate conversations that had nothing to do about the film, but eventually it would come back to it either a certain scene or a certain like imagery or certain individual item, anything. Honestly, at that time, with 4 o'clock in the morning, we're looking for anything to talk about to keep joking around and laughing.
Yeah.
But That's what it was for. But now it's just become like this like real hardcore movie thing, and I don't really mind it too much. But as soon as you guys like really get into the movie stuff, I tend to dip out because I really just like conversating and hanging out with folks rather than just constantly watching movies. That's why we originally with the after hours were kind of split up into different like events and shit.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for them biddies, Alderman T. He says, Dill Diaz, now that Edge won the Royal Rumble, who's going to be facing Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre? I think it will be Edge. I think for sure.
It'll be Jesus Christ, actually.
No, Edge will
probably.
definitely. Actually, Jesus Christ in the canon for wrestling, so, that counts.
What isn't canon in wrestling?
I know, it's so amazing. But no, Edge is definitely going against
Unions.
Roman Reigns. It's going to be fucking spear versus spear. It'll be cool as shit. But if he does go against Drew McIntyre, that'll be cool too. But, yeah.
I swear, Nick. You just said, oh, what is it, canon? You're like, yeah, it's great, isn't it? There's an alternate universe in which your dad was in the comics instead of fucking wrestling, and you're like the biggest comic fan. Because like, to me, there's literally no difference.
No, I'm actually in the same boat, but that's why I get so shitty with comic book fans because they're like, look at that dumb shit. It's like it's the same shit.
I know, I agree. Like someone that's like a huge fan of comics, and it's like, man, I like wrestling. I just really can't get into it because I don't have 45 years to catch up with some of the shit.
Yeah, we might be actually reviewing Torque. Oh, well, tomorrow Double Toes is doing Torque. I want to do the same thing they're doing, but I really forgot to watch that, Alan. We were going to watch that last night.
Yeah, that movie's so bad. It's, man, that's, again, my favorite, one of my, not favorite, the worst fight scene I've ever seen in my life. That's why when Nick gives me shit about the Jason doesn't go to Manhattan fucking fight scene, this is terrible, this is stupid. Bro, I've seen some dumb shit.
Yeah. No, like, I'm going to show it really quick, too. You guys got to see this fucking thing. This is the bike scene, and, I mean, granted, Double Toast will talk about this a lot tomorrow, but
if they don't bring this scene up, they robbed you. Because this scene is the fucking best scene in the entire movie, where it's bike duel, right? You're like, okay, well, what are they gonna do in a bike duel? Well, they're literally fighting with the bikes. Like, not like, oh, they're doing cool wheelie shit. No. They're on the bikes, and they're fucking kicking each other and stabbing each other. Now, you might think that sounds cool, but you gotta watch this shit.
Look at that stuff is dumb. That's so fucking dumb.
None of this makes any fucking sense. The bridge underneath they're going is like the longest fucking bridge ever. I'm pretty sure they just looped the footage. It is so fucking terrible.
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, like this shit gets kind of insane. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit too. Look how fast everything is going on the side. Like, whoa, I'm just going that fucking fast.
Oh, that's the end of the movie where it's like it's 200 miles an hour, and then my gas tank got shot, and there's a fire behind me because we gotta make this as intense as possible. And ice cubes in it for some fucking reason.
Look at that CGI. How do you fuck that up that bad? I mean, Mountain Dew, by the way.
2004?
Look at all that money they're making. Mountain Dew, Pepsi. Like, what's next? Fucking like.
Look, this movie canonically says that Mountain Dew is better because that's what she finishes off.
Wow, bad boy. That's actually great. Game facts as a fisherman now creative pull ideas. How do you pronounce February?
Sorry, what?
Yeah. Apparently that's the thing that Game Facts put out.
It's February. I don't know if it's spelled that way, but it's February.
Yeah, I probably fuck it up. I can't say regular words right. I can't even do March right sometimes. I say that too fast.
I still fuck up Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, well, you mean like spelling or saying?
Just saying it. Because it's like Wednesday, but I go Wednesday. And it's like, it always fucks me up when I think about the spelling of Wednesday and the actual spelling. It's fucking weird.
It's too many goddamn letters. I've said this before.
Yeah, no, it really is. Refrigerator is another word I have trouble like spelling. I don't know why, because I feel like when I say it, I'm adding letters that don't belong there.
Well, no, because the word fridge has a D in it, but the word refrigerator doesn't.
Yeah, E-Mike says, so get this, I was going to Darlito. Diaz, Carlito is back at WWE. I saw that, and that dude is yoked like a motherfucker, dude. All those muscles and everything.
Does he spit the apple out?
Yes. Well, no, he tried to. He tried to, but Nakamura took it. Man, it was fucking hilarious what Nakamura did. Like, that was actually a really cool thing from last night. Definitely looked it up. I'm pretty sure WWE put that shit on YouTube. It was fucking awesome. Ryan saying, in addition to Torch's director directing several music videos, he also directed that series Power Rangers short. I'm sorry, I'm reading too fast. I said sharp from 2015.
Wow.
You gotta take a break. Okay, we're taking over the show. Nick,
Yeah,
go get
I'm
some water.
sorry.
Poor boy.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, Bad Boys, like, I feel like Torque was...
Sorry.
You too? Everyone leave. This is the Birdman show now.
Marty Sharp Power Poopers. Oh, that's some childish shit, Ryan.
I work with children.
First of all, we're 5-year-olds with very high intelligence.
Children!
Yeah. We're pretty advanced for being children, I gotta be honest, dude.
No, you're not.
I'm so smart, I got tall.
You might actually win. Are you smarter than a 5th grader? Because you have about the same emotional fucking range.
I guarantee you, if we did that show, like we're like, competitors or something, I would totally beat you. There's no fucking way you're.
I'll tell you this straight up. I'm losing that shit. That shit's
I'll
hard.
lose as soon as we get to the math questions.
No, I'll get the math question, but the English questions, I'm just gonna quit.
I'll watch you like try to figure out history. Like, when did Ganja get high? And tell me about this shit.
Yeah.
Nah, the English one will be the English ones because every time they do English, I'm like, I'm fairly decent. Okay, no, I'm not. Holy shit, that will humble you. That show humbles.
What's up, Austin?
Yeah, Austin over here in the chat saying, "What's up, Alan?" He says Alan first. I fucking hate this shit because then Matt Hundama says Alan's the only
You know
adult.
what? Hey, he's my favorite guy, man. Every
No,
time he shows
fuck
up, I say hi to him. He says hi to me.
No,
he got you
fuck
second.
Bullshit. No, fuck Austin. Fuck Hundama. You've been always giving me shit. Goddammit. Fuck you.
I love y'all. It's alphabetical. It really isn't. Because Ganja would have been before Nick.
That's true. I mean, did it alphabetical? Austin, Nick, what happened?
Really?
What's wrong
We've
with
been fucking words up all night.
alphabetical. What kind of dummy loses one letter?
Wait, I'm on Alan size culturally. What the fuck does that mean? I'm Arab.
No, but in Canada. I was saying Canada, but Canada, yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Oh, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in the chat, JJ? We have no fucking idea.
Wow. Gene saying, isn't Nick Austin? Like, I thought he was asking, am I autistic? I was going to be like, what did I do? Like, geez.
Oh, yeah, really.
The answer to that is he's never been officially tested.
Oh,
I mean,
you're right.
none of us have.
Dude, what if I
I'm
find
afraid
out?
to. Yeah. I'm afraid to, just in case.
I have a feeling the way you interrupt, yes, probably.
No,
Fuck you.
the thing is, truth versus truth. Holy shit.
Oh, really, Nick? You'll be in the same goddamn boat I am.
What did I do? I didn't do nothing.
You laugh at his joke.
I like his jokes. They're good. They're good jokes.
Oh, Alan's face when I said that shit was first.
I know. All that emotion in such a small amount of time.
Woo.
Let's move on to an actual news story so we don't just fucking insult the chat the whole fucking night.
I'll let you know right now. If this man was a cartoon, his head would explode like in those Looney Tunes cartoons when they get mad.
Oh, yo. So, okay, they're not gonna be able to hear this in the call, so that's the reason why I don't like to show these. But we watched this last night, and this dude, I'm so sorry for laughing, but it's at the end of Quantum Leap. Do you know that show, Alan? Quantum Leap. Anyways, I don't know what the fuck show it is. It's old.
Oh,
but at the
no! Oh, no. That's... Oh, no.
Oh, before he
that's
does it, he goes like this.
Oh, no, dude. I saw the video. That's not good.
God damn it. Okay, so I can't... I guess I gotta start from the very beginning, but it's 14 seconds. I want to get myself in trouble. But he essentially walks up to it, and people, please allow me to say this. Okay. But he walks out, he goes, I'm retarded. Like, he just says it so serious. Like, it's like a really horrible thing. And then, like, he walks up, bro, and I don't know how they got away with this.
Again, this was like, what, the fucking 70s or 80s? Like,
dude,
they didn't give a shit.
Like, I'm telling you, I don't like cancel culture, but that needs to exist for shit like this. You know what I mean?
Okay, so random aside, there was this article in which people were trying to cancel the movie Split because of the demonic representation of mentally ill people, and in comparison to blackface as derogatory to people with mental illness. Mm-hmm. And people in the chat were going off as you'd expect, like, oh, it's not the same thing, it's not the same thing. Then I thought for a second, blackface has never had any, it's always been derogatory from the moment of its inception. Mental illness in movies hasn't had a better history. There are two types of mental illness. You're a comedy joke or you're a demon.
Yeah, exactly.
There's really no in between. Has there really been a good representation of mental illness in a movie?
Well, I'll give it this. I mean, they're trying to be sympathetic with it. Like, the music that's playing is like, oh.
Yeah, but that's usually what it is. It's, or sorry, I guess the third one is you have to sympathize and feel sorry for them, like radio, this situation. But it's like that's kind of the really, they break it down, and all of it is negative stereotypes.
Well, radio, they overachieved. See, because, like, and this is coming from people who are not dealing with that, so, like, I don't want to, like, sound like we're, like, assholes or anything. And,
or
like,
scum.
But, like, my biggest thing is just kind of, like, you know, with radio, you know, he's going through all this crazy shit, but then he overachieves, and then he still has, like, that moment where it kind of, like, is still comedic when he does get the victory or whatever the fuck, and things go his way. And that happens a lot, even in Forrest Gump. It's like, we're seeing this dude basically tortured with all this shit throughout, like, 2 fucking hours, and then he still managed to kind of, like, you know, I don't know. It just seems like very cartoony, very like, you know, black people don't like the magical, mystical, and we're
and it's like, yeah, oh well, because he doesn't understand what's going on. He's able to achieve all this stuff, but because of his mental illness, he can't really understand his achievements. So he just kind of goes around kind of like a child. And it's like, yeah, you never really get a proper, you know, depiction of this because it's always it fits in one of these categories. You're either a joke, you feel sorry for them, or you're a demon. And it's like, I can understand people being upset about that because it's like it basically paints it across because now every time we see a situation like that, like we know what they were kind of going for. You have to feel sorry for that character because now that he looks like that's horrible to me, man.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But that part I did laugh. I'm sorry. Like that is fucking insane.
Like, oh no, that's
Marissa, you're a fucking dick for showing that in the chat, by the way, sir. But I'm a dick for also clicking on it because I didn't have to, but I did. But anyways, guys, we'll get into topics here. I mean, some of these can be very, very short because it's like, okay, really, like, I don't know why the fuck this is happening. Like, first off, Sonic the Hedgehog animated series ordered by Netflix. Why are they ordering this? Do they have that much money? What the fuck?
Netflix has been going hard on video game adaptations for television shows. I think The Witcher just did really, really well, and the news of Assassin's Creed did phenomenally. So they're like, you know what? I mean, it worked with The Witcher. We don't have to do live action shows for all these. We can do animated and mixed. Let's just kind of start focusing on more original programming that comes from adaptations because Castlevania worked. So it's like we have premise for this to go somewhere.
Yeah, because according to Netflix, a 24-episode animated adventure aimed at kids 6 to 11. Yikes! Will feature the 30-year-old. By the way, look at those numbers. By the way,
What?
Yeah, look at this. Kids 6 to 11 will feature the 30-year-old Blue Blur character, and I'm kind of like, yeah, like how many fucking 6 to 11-year-old kids are like, I want to see more Sonic? It's like, they
man.
The character.
How many 6 to 11-year-olds this generation are gonna be the Sonic? Never mind. Let's put Mickey Mouse on instead.
Well, no, dude, I'm guaranteeing Mickey Mouse is not a big deal right now.
I mean, you say that, but you'll be surprised how many kids are actually playing. Very young kids are playing Sonic. Forces.
Yeah. And that's actually, that game was like considered bad, and people didn't like it.
Oh, the game is fucking terrible, but it's.
Well, the thing is, like, when you're really young, like hell, one of my cousins was playing, and he loves it. I think that's his favorite game now, and it automatically made Sonic like one of his favorite characters now.
It's good to see Superman 64's legacy continues on with the youth.
No. Anyway, but at the end of the day, it's like you might not think like, well, again, 6 to 11 is like, yeah, they didn't grow up with Sonic. But because it's probably going to be a bright, colorful television show on Netflix, they're like, yeah, we're going to get the kids involved. And it's just like the new Disney cartoons with the Mickey Mouse. Like, God just showed me a couple episodes. I actually really like them. They're horrifyingly dark, like really fucking dark. But I actually just like it because it's like, yeah, you have it for a new generation. And so these characters are going to stick around forever. Like, if Nintendo ever let anybody else ever fucking license their goddamn products, we would see a Mario fucking thing easily. But Nintendo doesn't really like to do anything outside of the house.
Really quick, I'm going to go on to the next topic, but I have to call Coleman for some misspelling on his end. I don't want him to go on live and...
Oh, you misspelled your own name! Again!
It's pretty silly, so I'm going to call in a minute. But before I continue on, I want you to talk about this really quick before I come back. But yeah, Black Panther, apparently Ryan Coogler is going to be bringing the Wakanda series to Disney+. So what are your thoughts on that? And chat, chime in, and I will be right back as I call Coleman about his misspelling.
Actually, I'm excited because I think what it is when we saw Disney does the same. Disney doesn't like take a lot of risks. They do a small risk. They're like, hey, we're going to give this show like The Mandalorian. We're going to give it the budget it needs, but we're not really sure if anything's going to go. Oh, it managed to do fantastic. Okay, second season, we're going to put all these Star Wars characters so that all of them get their own spin-offs. And then you saw the Star Wars universe blow up. I had a feeling the same thing was going to happen with WandaVision. WandaVision came out, and I was like, holy shit, this is fantastic. Oh, people like this shit? Well, we have Winter Soldier on the way, too. Okay, you know what? Let's start doing some of these smaller stories on television. And it's like, Black Panther, I'll say this. As much as I'm kind of 50-50 on the movie. I think the movie has some good parts. I think the movie has some bad parts. I think that movie has the best world building in the MCU because it's the most interesting world because they actually spend time with what is Wakanda? What is that actual place? It's not like Asgard where it's like you see it for 2 seconds and you only see it for Thor's bedroom. You get to go on the ground floor in Wakanda and it's like, yeah, it's what you'd expect. It's random markets and then holograms. Like it's a mix of like new and present and future technology. So you could easily do any story you want there. Maybe you don't focus on Black Panther. Maybe you focus on like what's it like to be the equivalent of a security guard or police officer, or just an average person. Like you can do so much in that world because they world built it so well in the first movie.
Yeah,
no, I agree 100%. One of the things I want, because I could go on to it, because I've actually seen an idea, but I wanted to ask Jen and Roxy, because I know you guys are more casual when it comes to a lot of these superhero stuff. What is y'all opinion on this? Can you get? Are you watching Wandavision? Because I know maybe you haven't really checked out Wandavision or anything really from Disney Plus except for the Mickey Mouse cartoons. But are you guys interested in this at all as well?
Well, I really like Black Panther, and I like most of the characters in there. So I mean, I don't mind checking this one out.
Yeah,
like rather than fucking WandaVision, because to be honest, like even though everyone's saying that show is good, I do not like Vision or Wanda. I don't like either one of them. I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't watch something with two characters I did not like in the movies.
If it makes you feel any better, Jet, I hated them in the movies too, and I actually kind of like the show.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like that show gets better, like episode 3, episode 4. We'll talk about that more later on. But like over here with Wakanda, that show. I was gonna say Wakandavision, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Wakandavision. It's just Black Panther and Vision. They're just roommates.
Yeah, and I'll have like the Sanford and Son theme song for the beginning.
Just fuck it. We're just gonna do Friends, but it's gonna be random Avengers in a fucking apartment building.
We are Avengers too. Oh god damn.
Whoever knew life was gonna be this way? You just see Thor blow the roof off of the fucking
Thanos snapping to the song and shit. No, but I'm looking over here, dude. Like, here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I was a big fan of the character of Black Panther. I'm gonna get lots of hate. You know, I'm just gonna let that chat just come over here and tell me how wrong I am. But the other characters of this movie were so fucking good, and the world was so fucking good. And I'm like, dude, I cannot wait to see something that's paying attention to them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if they can afford to have like Lupita Nyong'o and Denai Guerrilla in the Wakanda series, but if they can, and if Ryan Coogler has an idea how to use those characters, oh my fucking god, dude, that would be amazing.
Either one of them is too big because again, I keep forgetting her name, but she was on The Walking Dead for like 5 fucking years, so it's like she's not too big. Like I'm too big for TV. She could easily be on television. I doubt they're gonna sit there and focus a whole movie on her, but I doubt they're gonna do that. They're gonna have concurrent, like, because they're probably not gonna do any like Wanda focused movies or Vision focused movies. There'll be side characters in the other stuff, but with those characters, they might keep them as like main tier to sell the next Black Panther movies. So I imagine they're gonna focus on someone. I think JJ brought in chat, explore the scholarly side. Like, what's it like to be in a school? Like maybe training, like again, like I was saying, training the guards, or what's it like to learn stuff in Wakanda? Because there's a lot of advanced technology. So what's a school like in there?
Yeah, and how did they handle the lack of technology? I mean, there has to be some place in Wakanda that doesn't have access to vibranium or whatever the case may be. So, like, what are those like? And then how does Black Panther handle those? Because I'm going to be honest, too, one thing I really enjoyed about this character and how it was written is that they're actually kind of explaining how maybe he's not as nice of a guy. Because the fact that he's willing to say, hey, all of my kind of people from planet Earth or, non-Wakanda, fuck them. Like, we only care about our shit. You know what I mean? Like, he was kind of doing, like, a little bit of a whole, like, shithole country type thing. You know what I mean? Like, and it took Killmonger to kind of like fight him in that and be like, okay, now I understand. I want to help everybody. You know what I mean? So
my biggest question is how they're going to handle the passing of
that's a good question.
Chadwick Boseman.
Wakanda, the show, I don't think has to even touch on it, but the movie though, I mean, they had to touch on it. But there was talks. They said that Chadwick Boseman's stuff is actually in the movie, so they're not going to really change anything. Like apparently, he already shot the shit that he was going to shoot.
Wait, did he? No, I thought he died way before production even began.
I don't know. Maybe they got some CGI or something. Maybe the studio has like vibranium tech or something.
Like I said, I have no idea how they're gonna pull it off. But you can easily for the show just have a statue and have like some of his like moments on screen as like constantly. Like you could easily do the show without having Chadwick there. That next movie though, holy shit!
For some reason, it just shows him in like the Spike Lee movie, just as a quick little sneak peek, and just ends
Five Bloods.
He went undercover as an actor in Hollywood.
Yeah, because I will say, I mean, it's going to be felt. That Black Panther 2 is going to be felt quite a bit. I think the only way they can actually make up for it is to do something that they weren't planning on, or something they probably were planning on but were keeping a secret. I think that if I was a huge fan of Black Panther to the point where I'm like crying before Chadwick died because I love this character so much, the only thing I'd be okay with is if somehow they bring back Killmonger and he's the new Black Panther, because essentially people wanted that anyways.
I guess, but to me, I think it's just like, oh, hey, we have a villain that's actually not a throwaway, so we want him in everything. I'm like, it's a Darth Vader syndrome. Hey, this guy was just really fucking cool, so we want him to be everywhere. And I'm like, nah, to me.
But you need him everywhere. That character is better than fucking anybody in Marvel.
But his character is finished. Like the idea is like, hey, like the final speech he says, throw me in the ocean. Like I love that shit. Like I don't think you bring that character back. I feel like would just take away from just his ending because
it's like T'Challa would have actually thrown him though, because he's too good of a person too. He's like, I'm not gonna do that to you. Like,
no, but he hasn't been above killing, and he's not above giving a respectful death, especially the last wishes of a man, where it's like, hey, you're my enemy, but I don't hate you. And that was been T'Challa's thing. You're my enemy, but I don't hate you. For instance, the end of Civil War with Zemo. He could have killed him. He could have let him die. It's like, no, you're my enemy, but I don't hate you. Even though you're responsible for the death of my father, I don't hate you. So that's why he saves his life. Because, like, hey, you're more alive than dead. Not in a vindictive way, but it's like, hey, I'm not going to let hate consume me like the Avengers have. I'm going to be better than that. So he would letting him die would be like a respectful way. It's like, hey, you're my enemy. But the idea of him coming back just it throws it away. It's like what was his death for then?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like I won't even be asking what was his death for, because I'd be like, oh well, he didn't die, so like what his life was for is to replace T'Challa. But I mean, then again, I see your point too, and obviously I agree with the notion of, you know, sometimes these characters are kind of like squeezed like until all the fruit juice is gone. You know what I mean? Like they just fucking, you know, wrangle it all out. But it makes sense sometimes, because I tell you, to this day, that Darth Vader scene from Rogue One was better than anything he's ever done. And this character has been dead for so many decades and so many movies and so many fucking stupid layers and canons. And it's like, still, when he comes back, we lose our shit because it's fucking awesome.
My problem is the Joker situation of like, we have this charismatic villain, but we want him in everything because we feel that we can't tell a story without the Joker as the bad guy. But to me, it's like, I take death very, very seriously, especially in comics. Okay, you want to talk shit about comic industry? Comic industry has the worst record when it comes to death. Death means absolutely nothing in the comic industry. I've never seen a fucking industry where death means fucking nothing.
Well, that's the biggest thing.
Who cares? They'll get back in some random fucking way. The only fucking thing I can think of that has less of a consequence for death is Dragon Ball Z.
Lightborn Cloud, thank you for following, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
But no, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right, and I've hated that too. But then at the same time, I gotta ask you, it's like, how many of your favorite superhero characters and favorite stories would have not existed if it wasn't for them disrespecting the object of death? Like, you wouldn't have all the crazy Spider-Man shit, all the villains that they ended up fighting. You wouldn't have all the storytelling of all these characters.
Not necessarily. There are times where that would be the case, but like there are times where it's like, I think you need to let a character like retire, be over, because like Killmonger, his story was connected to Black Panther from his birth to his death. Everything was connected to that character. The idea that it's like we're gonna bring him back because we've got to fill shoes. It's like that. It's like maybe they'll make it work, but I really think that situation where it's like, hey, we got to get this guy that's good enough to sell a movie, because again, it's Michael B. Jordan, he can sell a movie. Somebody that's a great actor, again, Michael B. Jordan can fill the shoes easily. But to me, it's like I just feel like it's a waste of what you did with that character. That character to me is a one shot. Like for instance, like we'll bring it back to one of your things. I would never want them to recast Heath Ledger. Like for instance, let's say Dark Knight Rises was a different movie. I would have wanted to recast fucking Joker just to put him in Dark Knight Rises, because like the Joker story was over in the Dark Knight. It is done in the Dark Knight. I don't need Christopher Nolan to do another Joker story. It's over.
Your boy Matt Hundeman says, what about Supernatural?
Supernatural is extremely different, because when they bring back people, it's never easy, and it's always in some cases way worse. Where it's like, hey, we brought this person back, but we might have just caused like the deaths of thousands. Like, it is one of those situations where it's not like, oh, we're just gonna bring him back, like the Thanos snap. Hey, everyone's back, we're cool. It is like, yo, is this even a good idea? So in some cases, the characters don't want to come back.
Does it happen? Thank you for them for the 100 biddies there. I appreciate the
email. Oh wow!
What do you think of the MCU Xavier Institute? Do you think that will actually work with the X-Men reboot? Yeah, dude. Honestly, I don't know much about like the Institute or like that whole, because like there's a few versions of that. Like New Mutants kind of leads towards something of that being existing in that universe. I don't have a lot of faith in Marvel and Disney doing a good job with X-Men. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have any problems with
Fox.
Dude, honestly, I mean, I won't say I love, but it's like I've never watched an X-Men movie except for half of Apocalypse and all of Days of Future Past. I haven't actually had issues with any of the X-Men things. Like, they're pretty fun. Like, especially the first, like, 4 of them. Even Origins was fine. Like, I didn't have an issue with Wolverine Origins.
Terrible. Like, I have issues with it, but the problem with Fox is so inconsistent. Like, say what you want about the Marvel movies, even if you don't like them, at least there's almost a consistency to them. Where it's like,
really?
Yeah.
There's a consistency? We're watching a show that started off as a Leave It to Beaver fucking parody. Like, are you fucking serious?
Consistent. They went to the next one, then it switched.
You got Thor Ragnarok, which is a fucking
shit.
You got Thor Ragnarok as a comedy.
Yeah, they're all comedies.
And they have 3 different Spider-Mans alive right now. 3 different random canon Spider-Mans.
I specify the MCU.
Dude, they're all connected because of fucking the Marvel Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. But the X-Men stuff is all connected to which one?
Just because you call it multiverse doesn't mean that they're not connected. They're fucking connected. They're all connected.
I know what they are. No. I'm specifying the fucking movies that are coming out in the last 10 years alongside the X-Men movies, which almost every X-Men movie feels like a different fucking one to the next one. You have the original trilogy, which was, decently connected. Then the X-Men Origins would just fucking make shit up. And then you're like, well, that fucking failed. So let's just fucking do the reboot. I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. The next one just fucking ignores that. And then they just keep going inconsistent where it just gets randomly worse as it goes along. Like, at least at the MCU, it's like it might not necessarily be good movies, but it's like they're not going to be nearly as bad as some of the worst Fox movies.
Look, Crow's like, welcome to another episode of Nick's Bad Takes. I don't know, man. I mean, I know the audience here, guys are all into fucking comic books and everything, and that's because you might live in your mom's basement. That's cool. But the thing is, though, I'm just
wrestling fans.
No, that's true. Lots of wrestling fans live in their mom's basements, and they're usually having sex with women in there, unlike you guys. But that's fine.
Sure, but they're usually blow up dolls.
But I gotta tell you, one of these days, we're gonna catch each other in bad days.
Don't shame blow up dolls. They got good pussy.
I mean, that's the wrestling fans. I can say that because I'm a fan of both. So fuck y'all. Come on.
You're a fan of blow up dolls?
Yes.
No, like. Okay, like here's the thing, man. Because I'm talking shit about comic book fans, and I'm just joking around. But at the same time, there is a piece of this where you're like, man, there's consistency. There's not been one fucking iteration of anything that's been consistent to the point where like we'll have 3 episodes of a Daredevil show that's like I can't see shit. Okay, I can see like the outlines and stuff. Okay, actually, I can kind of see. Oh, my feeling and hearing is so good that it doesn't matter that I can't see. It's like, dude, like what the fuck? Like,
what are you talking?
This is
like,
simple.
They explained it in the show. We've been through this for 3 fucking years, dude.
And you always say to explain it, and then I'm like, okay, how? And then you just say the same thing I just said, which is my problem. So it doesn't fucking. You don't retract anything that I say. It's we say the same
3
thing.
more years. Let's do this.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you.
Well, no, sorry, I didn't hear what he said.
No, I don't know
trying
either.
to do this for another 3 more years. Let's do this.
Do this for the rest of Biden's fucking administration.
Yeah, but. No, but like the biggest thing too, it's like with the Marvel movies, like I'm gonna say, let's just say that all those movies are great, right? But they're certainly not the same genre. You get fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out right after Infinity War, where everyone's leaving like crying, oh my god, it's terrible, and then the movie is like a complete fucking joke and a comedy. Then it ends off with like fucking some dire shit. Then you got Endgame, which half the movie is a comedy, half the movie isn't. Then you got fucking, and it's like all these movies, it's always like a random like flip of a coin. Is this going to be this quality or this genre or this what? Like you don't know.
I don't think, okay, one would, but at the end of the day, it's like, when I think about all the Marvel movies that I don't like, I can only really think of a couple. So I guess what I mean quality is just that they're like, I don't think a lot of them are trash. I think there are a couple that are fucking terrible. But at the end of the day, I think that almost any movie in the MCU is better than almost any X-Men movie. And I'll say that straight up. I don't think Logan's that good.
So,
I don't.
So you say Captain Marvel is better than the first X-Men movie?
Oh, that's one of the bad ones. That's legitimately
because there's almost like there's some bad ones.
I know you said that. I'm like, yeah, there's some bad ones. There's the ones I fucking hate. Guardians 2 and Captain Marvel are not good movies. Same thing with Iron Man 3.
This is a cool part, chat, because what I'm doing is I'm going to start making the cynical Alan come out, and then you guys are going to turn on him, and then you're going to know I'm the shit.
Oh, no, I said Captain Marvel's a bad movie, which fails to establish a character's relevance in the universe in regards to Endgame or anything that happens.
You said you didn't like Logan, which I'm pretty sure more people will be against you with that one.
Exactly.
Logan is just an excuse for the characters to say fuck a bunch of times.
Not even slightly.
Let them say fuck, Alan.
Yeah, what's your you say fuck a bunch of times too?
Look how adult we are. We said fuck. We just got Logan say fuck.
That's all you notice? That's all you notice? Not the fucking amazing storytelling, the incredible fucking choreography,
that
fucking
basic as fuck. They're like, oh, we gotta have this girl fucking cut heads off and shit, just so we can be extremely violent. Like Wolverine is a better movie. The Wolverine, the one that came out before prior, was way better.
Oh, good God. New series, Alan's Bad Takes.
Yes, Alan's Bad Takes. Comes out right after Nick's Bad Takes.
You're Mike saying, Nick, do you know I'm excited about the introduction to the country of Latveria and Dr. Doom in the MCU? I don't know too much about those characters. I'm pretty sure that this guy over here probably knows, Mr. Alan Shakazine. But for me, I know nothing about them. But for one, that sounds like a silly fucking, like Dr. Doom. Just imagine him coming in, I am Dr. Doom, and we're going to come up with a really crazy storyline.
Oh, no,
it's the sympathetic villain.
I've never really liked the Fantastic Four. I've always felt that the Fantastic Four was like the... Well, when did Meet the Robinsons come out? Because I feel like that's just... They're just the comic versions of that. Because it's like... It's so weird. Like, and plus, his name is Victor Von Doom. I'm like, I'm sorry, but if your name is Victor Von Doom, you can only be a villain. You're not going to become a fucking dentist.
Yeah. That's a good meal, Bad Boy. He's saying, I'm over here eating hot dogs with some potato chips on top. X3. I think X3 means something, but I'm silly.
That sounds terrible. You putting potato chips on top of a hot dog?
He got me a potato chips, to be honest. I don't even like hot dogs, but the potato chips made it great.
Your favorite band sings about him?
Who?
Limp Bizkit. Hot dog flavored water.
You fucking stupid. God damn it. That was good, though. That was like some Ryan shit. That was actually not too bad. See, guys, we need Ryan to replace me. Guy Allen right over here. It's perfect.
What?
But yeah, no, everyone's talking shit. You're just like, oh, we want Ryan. He goes, I like comic books. Sure, good. You know, boom, boom, and skit, scat, and the other.
Hey, I like it. I love comic books, but I'm not gonna sit there and say some shit isn't fucking dumb. But at the end of it, it's like I don't think they've ever made a good adaptation of the Fantastic Four, and I don't think anyone's really gonna fight me on that because there's been 3 and all of them have been trash. But it's like the MCU. It's like I don't know. The MCU made Civil War, which was one of the worst comic runs in their fucking catalog, actually one of the best fucking movies. So it's like they could do anything with anything that they want. It's like I doubt it's gonna be worse than the fuck. Was it Fox? I think it was Fox. I mean, there's 4 fantastic movies. Holy shit!
Yeah, and none of them are fantastic. No.
You
You know you love it. You know you fucking love it.
Oh, bitch!
Speaking of
Nobody
comics,
remembers the one for the 70s.
oh God, I didn't even know it spanned that fucking far. Jesus Christ.
There are a lot of Marvel movies in the 70s no one talks about. Like, the Thor one that Jet likes to bring up.
Yeah, so fucking bad. Here's the thing, though, man. Since we're talking about comics, I'll give you a chance to talk about this really quick. Batman. Oh my God, I did it again. This is the 3rd week, Alan, and I fucking said Batman again instead of Batwoman.
See, this is a problem. This is why we can't have people representation and fucking help them. It's motherfuckers like you.
No, Batwoman, though. So I just read a spoiler, and if it is what I think it is, I'm going to let you kind of talk about it. Well, no, because it's about this episode you just watched, so I won't be spoiling you. But what I'm saying, though, is like, if it is what I think it is, this is probably one of the most dumbest fucking episodes I've ever seen. But I'm going to let you talk about it, man. What you feel about episode 3 of season 2, Batwoman?
I actually really liked it. I think it's really like they're cementing the fact that this character is going to be taking over for the foreseeable future. But they kind of drop hints where they might be like, "Oh, she's kind of alive," but the most likely, since there's no way the actress is coming back, and this is like some inside Hollywood shit, they're probably just gonna have a situation where she left the notes like, "Hey, I got to go figure myself out," or some stupid shit, and they'll never find her again. So she's alive, but they're never gonna have her again. But this episode, to me, it shows that no matter how good your writing is, if your actors are terrible, you're going to have a garbage stuff. Where it's like there's some people that are actually trying, but there's so many bad actors on this show that it's like it takes away from the good actors. Because Victor Zsasz shows up, and that guy, I hate him. I hate him in the comics, but every live action interpretation of this guy has always been the coolest motherfucker. Because he's always this kind of calm hitman, but he's really fucking crazy, but he's able to hide it really well. And this was just another great interpretation of this character. Ryan, the main woman who's taking over for Batwoman, is really coming into her own, where she's kind of figuring out how she's doing it herself, and everyone's kind of getting more and more used to her. And I just like her struggle, where it's like, yeah, she's not this rich billionaire-ass, she's kind of homeless for the most part, and you just see her kind of getting her life together through this guise of a superhero. And I like it when it's like a superhero is being used as a positive thing. Like her becoming Batwoman is good. Usually when you have superheroes, it's like, look how horrible my life is because I put the cape on. In her case, like shit's getting better because she's becoming more confident and taking more charge of her life. But the other actors, where it's like, yo, man, y'all are still in the show. Fuck, I forgot y'all are still here. Their stories just are so like pointless. It feels like their entire existence was around one character. But since that character is no longer there, it's just we're just scrambling trying to figure out something to keep their existence around.
Yeah. Really quick, Gameway has a question for you. He says, okay, Alan, do you think Galactus will be the next MCU big bad after Thanos?
I think that they're gearing up for that. I don't know specifically. That's probably why they had the Fantastic Four. I'm going to say this here because I said this in the chat attack before Thanos came out. Because Thanos is a bitch in the comics and he's a fucking loser in the friend zone. Galactus has always been stupid. Always. He has never been cool. He is the biggest fucking... Whoever designed that was on acid. We're like, hey, what if we made this big dude? Like he's just big. Like, how big? Like, the size of planets. And, like, he eats planets. But how do they fight him? These people are super small. Well, powers and shit, right? It's like, are you on cocaine? It's like, yeah. He looks so dumb. His purple fucking helmet. Like, it looks like something you get out of a gumball machine. And hey, watch him be the coolest fucking villain. Because Thanos was fucking stupid. And they made Thanos one of the most interesting villains in comic book history. So fuck it. Let's do that with Galactus. I fucking doubt it.
Yeah, no, that really does look silly. But at the same time, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he doesn't have the same kind of costume. But they're really all back to Batwoman. I just wanted to say that before I get interrupted, which I am. Because Corey's calling me. So I'll be right back. But you tell him what else there is for Batwoman.
Okay, Kirk, if I hated villains that are taller than me, I hate every fucking villain there. I'd say villains that have stupid fucking motivations. I just want to eat things. That's his entire motivation. That's why I didn't understand why everyone hated fucking Galactus in the Fantastic Four movie, because he's just a giant cloud. At least it's way less stupid than the actual interpretation. But
So which one was the worst Cloud, Galactus or the one from Green Lantern?
I was not at the comic books that much at the time, so I thought they were the same person. I just thought they just went back and forth.
I will say.
All I remember from that Green Lantern fucking movies, like they had a fucking Cloud, a villain Cloud, and it sucked.
What?
Okay, so
I
they
gotta
asked,
see this.
which villain Cloud do you like better, Galactus or the one from Green Lantern? And back at the time when those movies came out, I wasn't really into comic books that much, so I actually thought they were the same character. Like I thought they were the same villain because they're just CGI clouds. I'm like, oh okay, they're both like Green Lantern fought it, and then the Fantastic Four fought it.
That is some of the dumbest shit. How do you guys... chat. This is not even at Alan. Chat. Seriously, guys? How do you talk shit about wrestling when you got villainous clouds?
Oh,
What
nobody
the
liked
fuck
it.
is
Everyone,
this? This is
talked shit.
dumb
Everyone
as
was
fuck.
joining and talking shit because nobody liked it. But I'll say this: when it comes to fucking compared to what Galactus normally looks like, I'll take a villainous cloud versus what that stupid motherfucker. But Blazing in the chat asked me, do I like anything comic related? I fucking love comic shit. Like, there's some of my favorite things ever that will never ever be in a movie because they don't understand subtlety. But there's a lot of dumb shit in comics. That's why it's like when Nick's like, comics are all stupid, I'm like, no, they're about 50%. There's so much of it that it's like, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of good stuff, but there's gonna be a lot of bad stuff. And it's usually some of the villains that Jack Kirby and a lot of the writers at that time created, and through legacy just stuck around. Like Galactus was clearly made when comic books were around or were just starting. So they just kind of kept that, but it's like, it's such a dumb villain look.
Yeah, by the way, inflation plus wrestling has a big racist fan base. I ain't gonna argue that, dude. Unfortunately,
Ooh, really?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
dude, it's like it's redneck anime. People call it. It's redneck anime where it's just like imagine like because wrestling started back in like Memphis and shit. So imagine like fucking, everyone like, all right, go get him, damn it. Yeah, it's all real to me. Shit, fuck. It's like yeah, those kind of guys. Of course, it's fucking racist. But it's not like that anymore. Give it another shot.
Sure. And again, comic fans are hey, let's add racism, sexism. Like, come on, let's be real here. Like, like video game and comic book fans, we're not fucking purity. Like, just wait. The moment, like, again, you should have seen what happened when they recast Batwoman. It was like, I can't believe you just changed this character just for social justice. It's like the actress literally quit, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, even this too, like, and granted, like, I'm not gonna say this is stupid. I won't go on my big fucking comic rant again, but it's just like, yeah, when you have characters, and Transformers does this too, because like Galactus is fucking huge. I remember I saw him in a Fortnite, because I don't know anything about this shit. So the only thing I've seen is like, Galactus in Fortnite, and he's fucking huge. And I'm like, yeah, that's the issue here, where these characters get so fucking big. It's like, it's gonna be so stupid when the obvious heroes beat the obvious villain, and it's like that's what Unicron did with Transformers. Like, there's no way to make that a surprise or shocking or have a cool story. It's just big, big, big means evil, evil, evil. Like,
well, no,
why
the
the
two things
fuck
they're going
do
to do
that?
it. They're going to have Captain Marvel or somebody just like power punch the dude, or they're going to have to shrink him down. Like, it's the only way to make that work, and it's like both cases are just stupid. Like, the best thing to do would be take a villain that people don't really know that much and just kind of do your own interpretation of it. Like, I think they're going to go with Galactus because, again, when you think of comic book villains, Thanos, Galactus, like, those are Avengers level threats. Loki is more of a, hey, this is like, Loki made sense for the first Avengers because it's like, he's powerful, he has all this crazy stuff, but he's kind of like a mini boss where it's like he has the power, he can get these people together, but he's like the first boss you really fight before you can kind of get used to your team. That's why they had to keep escalating the threats to once they get to Thanos, because Thanos is universal. But like what Galactus can do, he can fuck up an entire world, but it's like it's just big for big sake.
Yeah. No, it's fucking ridiculous. I that's why I feel like this shit's just silly. And Blaze Michael, yeah, another thing too, yeah, definitely like wear the mask. I think when like they put their face out there. I mean, like Loki, I don't know if he had like a mask that's very like iconic or something, but like I look at something like Wonder Woman or Batman or whatever. I mean, Batman does have his mask on, so skip that. But like Wonder Woman, it's like, oh, I need to have my identity, but let me fucking make sure my face is out there, make sure I look really pretty, show my teeth and blah blah blah. It's like, dude, wear a fucking mask. Like, there's so many people that just go out there. Like, imagine if someone wanted to kill Tony Stark. We know where he lives.
I mean, that literally what happened. They just fucking that's what Iron Man 3 was. Yeah. Everyone knows who Tony Stark is, and they just blew his fucking ass up.
Yeah, it's just dumb. It's like that could have been easily avoidable. You're a fucking superhero. Wear the fucking outfit. Like, god damn it, shit. Anyways, yeah, I know there's a lot of comic book stuff, so we'll probably stop for a second. But I will ask you this before we continue on: did you give your rating for Batwoman episode 3 of season 2?
No, but I think it's still a 3, maybe 3.25. Like, it's still above average. because I'm liking the character, but you can clearly tell that they had so many plot threads that they expected the character to stick around that I feel like this season is gonna scramble to get to some sort of footing. That I hope that it gets to season 3, because the situation where they're gonna have to iron out all these plot threads, create new plot threads with this new character, and kind of even it out to continue the series forward. Because like they have to essentially pick this up where the actors just fucking them out. But every character here is connected in some way, and it's like this new person. It's like they're kind of forcing her in probably in honestly really shitty ways. But it's not bad. I just haven't seen a fight scene that I like yet. And I didn't see a fight scene I liked in the first season anyway. There's like one fight scene in that fucking 12 episodes that I enjoyed. But I've not seen a fight scene with her where it's like, okay, I like you. Because I like her as an actress, and I like the new outfit change, because this is where they give her a new outfit. I'm like, oh, this works really, really fucking well. This works way better than the last one. But I've not seen you do anything cool with it yet, and that's my biggest problem.
Yeah, but moving on from this, guys, we're going to talk about something else nerdy over here for a second. The Google Stadia. Apparently, what's happening with this is that there's...
Press up in the chat, boys. It's over.
Yeah, it says shuts down. Google Stadia shuts down their internal studios, changing business focus. But yeah, in 2019, this streaming fucking video game platform, basically the video game of Netflix, or the Netflix video games. There we go. I fucked that all up. But they started doing this thing where like you basically get the control, you get this online membership, and you can just play games. And apparently there's no bandwidth issues or whatever. Apparently Cyberpunk worked fine on it when it came out, like, which is kind of surprising. But for some reason, it's like I've always wondered this too. I'm like, how the fuck did they make money with this? And also too, like, even if it gets more popular, it's gonna get more expensive to even host this particular platform. And it's just like, why do this? I always seem like a really weird thing too. They should have like teamed up with somebody or something. But
well, Google has its own servers and stuff, but the problem is Google doesn't like to commit to anything that's not a hit right away. If you remember Google Glasses, where it's like, oh, Google Glasses could be all this cool shit, but it didn't take off, so people just immediately said, "Fuck it."
That was a fucking collapse. I remember the commercials. I remember the tech demos. They were trying to be like they reinvented the fucking phone. Do you remember like they tried to make it like Cyberpunk, wherever they show the commercials like, "Hey Google, show me the GPS," and they show like an outline of where he's got to go in the city and shit.
Yeah.
Hey, none of that shit worked as intended.
Yeah,
and yeah, with this, it's like it's not surprising that they decided, well, fuck it, we're gonna kind of pull the plug. I mean, everyone expected it. It's like low latency. It's like there were also times where it did run like complete garbage. They kind of didn't understand really what they want to do. Like, oh, you pay for a subscription and you kind of get it. Well, actually, you're kind of still buying the games on our platform, and if it ever shuts down, you're kind of shit out of luck. Which is, I guess, safe to say with a lot of platforms. But people thought it's like, oh, I pay a subscription and whatever games are on there, I play. Not really. If you want the real Netflix of games, go to Game Pass. It's literally the Netflix of games. You pay $20 or $15 a month, and some games will say, some games will leave. Most of the Xbox exclusives will say that's a way better deal with your money, because at the end of the day, you can download it to whatever like platform you're playing on, and you're good to go. With this, it's like it's a streaming, and it's like if you have good internet, sure, but if you have kind of bad internet, it's a problem. And it got to the point where it's just Google's way too early to the gun. Like this is a situation where it's like 10 years down the line, where digital is more of a thing. You're gonna have a need for streaming, but it's way too early to the gun.
Yeah, man. And I'm looking over here too because I'm reading more about this. Apparently, they only had 2 game studios for the whole Google Stadia thing. But they were located in Montreal and Los Angeles, which is a huge gap between two. So that's kind of funny as well. They should have been stationed at one particular place because I'm sure like the back and forth shipping of any kind of like goods or whatever the fuck would have been expensive as shit. It's just for most businesses, guys, it's not really smart to be stationed in 2 different particular countries or whatever the fuck because
not necessarily. When it comes to game development, the reason they pick those places is for subsidies and cost reduction. Montreal is one of the hubs of video gaming in the world because of the tax breaks that the Quebec government gives. So that's why you see. Yeah, that's why you see almost like every single company out there has a Montreal location. Square Enix, EA, I think Activision, Ubisoft is almost entirely stationed in Quebec.
It's funny about that too is Ubisoft because apparently one big thing that I think is leading to everyone wanting to leave and fuck this whole thing up is Jade Raymond, the veteran producer who helped build Assassin's Creed for Ubisoft originally, apparently moved on to EA. And I guess this happened right before they're moving on to like the new like stuff they're gonna be doing for Stadia. And yeah, they exited the company, I guess, like a year ago or a couple. I forgot how long ago it was, but they left, and I guess that's directly led to everyone leaving now because they lost 150 employees. Like that's like a really horrible thing considering like the pandemic and everything like that too. But yeah, I guess they're gonna continue operating the gaming service, and it's still $10 monthly. But the thing is, though, it's like the fact that they shut those things down. What does that mean for like this thing to continue on? The people that are currently with them, are they going to be like moved to a different platform or a different? Like I don't know. Like it's because I don't know shit about
necessarily because They're basically essentially we're not making any games dedicated to this platform anymore. So the only games on there are third party. But because of the fact that essentially with this news in, plus Stadia was already like on fumes anyway, most people were heading out because you have to pay for a subscription and then you have to buy the games as well.
Mm-hmm.
So the subscription allows you to play, wherever you are from your phone to your TV, but you also have to buy the game as well. So that's why the third party stuff's still on there, because it's like, hey, we just paid for the license, but we're not going to make any more games. When you don't make any more games to your platform, that's because you're pulling out. The third party stuff.
Oh no, because I was gonna say like I think that obviously Jet hasn't played this either, but like, did you ever think to a certain extent, Jet, that because you play new shit sometimes, like you'll try out new ways to do things. Were you ever like excited for this or like willing to try it out?
Hell fucking no.
Why is that though? Because like I would imagine.
They didn't have games.
What's up?
They didn't have no games.
No, they had a lot of games. They had Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk and everything. And by the way, if you would have got Cyberpunk on here, it would have worked right away as well as.
Why get it on Stadia instead of just getting it on Steam?
Well, it'll be cheaper because it'll be $10 a month.
Actually, would it be? Because I'm pretty sure you also have to buy the game on the service as well. That was also one of the things that kind of killed it.
Oh God, that's so fucking dumb.
Because you think about it, it's like, oh, it's a Game Pass, right? It's like, no, you also have to buy the game as well. That's why it was such a debacle right away, because they're like, Netflix is gaming, well,
Yeah, because then like, what if they take it off? What if they not do his licensing deal correctly, and then like, Rockstar or CD Projekt Red are like, I don't want it anymore, and then like, what happens with me?
That's why this thing died almost immediately, because it's like you have a lot of the rights issues with Microsoft. They're such a big company that they aren't essentially paying for the rights forever. They're paying for rights for a couple of months. That's why you see some games enter, some games leave. But stuff they make in-house or stuff they pay for, it stays on there forever. But the thing is you're not paying for any of the games on Game Pass. You download them to your system, and it's like I think every month it's like, hey, these 5 games are leaving, but then these 5 games are entering. So it's like Netflix. Sometimes they take movies off, sometimes they take them off. Sometimes they put them on, but like much like how you can download there, I think that there are better services for games for streaming. But people want the situation because streaming money is good for people that don't want to commit. Because there are gonna be people like, well, I don't really want to sit there and buy a console and buy a system or buy a PC. I want to just play it on my TV because it's like, hey, I only play games a couple hours a week. I don't want to go through all this effort. The problem is the infrastructure is not there yet. It's gonna take a couple of years.
Yeah. Jay, I'm gonna ask you another thing too. Are you against all live streaming like this, or like streaming the video games, or whatever? Because PlayStation Now is pretty fun. Good. I've had that. I love that shit. Like that's actually pretty awesome. In '90s, our old co-host loves the Game Pass thingy, like the xCloud, where you get to play on your phone. So, do any of these sound cool to you, Jet? Or are you still old school with it?
See, the problem is like I'm fine with that. I'm fine with streaming platforms. The thing is, like, I don't want to pay for another service. Like, I already got paid for Nintendo. I already got paid for like PlayStation, and then like Game Pass. Like at a certain point, then you got to pay for that. It's just like I don't want to spread my stuff all the way out just to play like a couple games.
Yeah, and I see your point there too. But it's like, goddamn, like the idea of playing on your fucking phone, wherever you want, whenever you want. And PS Now, it's like I've always wanted to. In my head when I was playing PS3 games when it was brand new, I was
even then, like playing on like if I had a choice of playing a game on my phone, like I wouldn't take it. I would much rather have a bigger screen. Like, sorry, unless that game is like straight up just made for the phone, like those obviously like mobile games like Animal Crossing Pocket Camp or like some other stuff. That I don't mind because like that's built for like a small screen. Would it be better on a big screen? I mean, I guess, but I don't mind playing on a small screen. These other games, I need a big screen for. Like, can't.
Yeah, I guess I see your point there. Because I always want at least near the best experience I can. I'm not a frame slut like or what do you call it, like size queen. I'm not a frame queen or whatever. If this shit drops to 30, I'm like, that's fine, whatever. But like when it comes to something like this is Witcher 3 right now. And can you imagine playing that on like a small screen or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, I played it on the Switch. It was fucking terrible.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say like, oh yeah, and I loved it.
Oh no, I hated it. It was one of those things where that's what really got me into side scrollers and fucking platformers, because I was trying to play like some of the games I play on my PC. I'm like, yeah, this looks really hard to see. Oh, playing Wolfenstein. Oh my god, playing a shooter on the thing is fucking terrible. But again, it's games made for that. Like one of the reasons I love Game Pass is because of the fact that you can download it to your system. Sure, you gotta still be online to access it, but that's fine. I can live with that. But I hate game streaming because I hate how much internet it takes. The only reason I don't have PlayStation Now is I can't download the games to my hard drive. If I could just download the games to my hard drive and delete as I need to, whatever the fuck, I'd be cool with that. But the fact that I have to spend a lot of my bandwidth, which is like, it takes like almost 60-70% of my bandwidth to get the games running, and it's like inconsistent quality and it could drop at any point, it's just like, yo, no.
Yeah, dude. No, I guess I see your point there. But yeah, I mean, Stadia is pretty much going down. But at the same time, like as far as predictions go, I feel like Microsoft or somebody's going to do a deal with them and buy them or help them. Maybe they make some other like studio or
for
something.
What though? It's like Xbox already has their Xbox and PlayStation. Even Amazon has their own gaming streaming.
Well, they have latency.
This is gonna be.
I think that Stadia, if Google can help them out with whatever the fuck, I mean, they are the manufacturers. Contractually, they're manufacturers of fiber. It's like, can you put some fiber in my PlayStation, please? Like, can you give us a fiber one? Let it go to the bathroom really normally, whatever. It's like, please. I think that can happen because latency. I even remember, and I wasn't complaining about it, but like I remember there was latency issues on my shit. You know what I mean? And like it was like for stuff like Child of Light. Like it wasn't like Call of Duty shit. It was like I'm just trying to play a single player game where I walk. It was still a problem.
Yeah, and that's the problem with games here. It's like you need to have a pretty decent connection, and then it's like visuals and frames and all the issues you would have with the normal game on top of the fact that and it's like it just adds more trouble to it. It's like I don't mind online experiences all the time. That's fine. I can live with that. It's a good compromise, but just let me play the game downloaded on my hard drive. So just let me download it there. And it's like if I'm ever offline, the game can't load, I can live with that. That's a compromise I'm willing to make.
But really quick though, guys, we're gonna get into our last topic. This one's gonna be a little, not the funnest thing to talk about. But apparently, Marilyn Manson did some shit that we all probably assumed of him because he's fucking weird. But apparently, Evan Rachel Wood accused Marilyn Manson of abuse. There's a quote from something where I'm basically gonna, we're gonna read most of this stuff here, or maybe we'll see. But the thing is, like, this is the important part: is he started grooming me when I was younger, or when I was a teenager, and horrifically abused me for years. Mrs. Wood said on Instagram. Hours later, Mr. Manson's label dropped him. And here's my fucking issue with that: you guys should have dropped this motherfucker when he was peeing on girls, young girls. Sometime, I mean, dude, he's not gonna fucking like hold out his dick. Let me check your ID first. Like, he's probably peed on some fucking like underage chicks. Doing pranks to other bands that he was touring with. Literally, and I'm not just bringing this up because I'm a huge fan of this band, but Korn literally said, I'm not doing tours with him anymore. All band members were like, fuck Marilyn Manson, we're not doing shit. We don't want to talk about what happened backstage, but we do not want anything to do with Marilyn Manson anymore. Fuck the tour. And this happened before Corona and all the other shit. So it's like, yeah, dude. Like,
I would have put his shit out there. Like, yeah, he's over here just peeing on young girls,
vomiting
and shit.
on people.
Shit, Rocky told me at one point, I guess he has a film series that he was recording that can't see the light of day because his lawyers and everyone that's responsible for keeping the Marilyn Manson money going is like, no, if this shit gets out, you're going to jail, dog.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking ridiculous. And like, keep in mind, I'm not trying to defend R. Kelly or anything like that too, because I'm glad what happened to him. But it's like, that gets documentaries, blah, blah. But since Marilyn Manson, like leans into it, like, ooh, I'm crazy and I like it. It's like they don't have a thing about him being fucking crazy, except for like
they don't have it yet because the thing is Marilyn Manson has always been a pariah for the media. He's always been an issue where it's like he's always been ostracized. They've always looked at him. R. Kelly was like fucking golden boy. Like they fucking put that motherfucker on an altar. Whereas Marilyn Manson's always been like protested and sued and shit like that. So it's like they could easily do a fucking documentary for them with all of his court cases, and it would shed a lot of light in a similar way. But I guess with R. Kelly, it's like people just ignored it with the situation. It's already there. It's like, yeah, this asshole is an asshole. It unfortunately, because of how his demeanor is, it hid the fact that he was doing this shit. And it's like, I know people in the chat right now are probably going to be like, yelling at Evan Rachel Wood because she said some pretty like shitty things about Kobe right as soon as he fucking died. But I don't think that should really take away from the fact that, yeah, like if she's coming forward, there are other people that are probably too afraid to come forward. That's always the kind of case with these, where it's like it takes a celebrity, it takes somebody big to expose this before other people are going to. If not, everyone's gonna be afraid. And what's the first thing that's gonna happen? They're gonna look right into the abused person's fucking background to find a way to discredit them. It's the fucking worst story.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that shit, because you know what's going to happen next. Ellen has a very valid point there, too. But over here it says her relationship with Mr. Manson, that's funny, Mr. Manson, became public in 2007, where she was 19, he was 38. Can you please talk about how weird that is? Like, she was 19, they first were public in 2007 about their dating each other. She was 19, he was 38. Look, the frontal lobe does not fucking fully develop till like they're 23, sometimes 24. There's not even a real age on it, but like usually around there. She's 19 where they became public, which means he must have been doing shit with her before she was 19. And it'd be weird if he did it like day one and where she was 18. But there's an elephant in the fucking room, a big pervy elephant. And that is, he must have been fucking doing her or being somehow connected with her romantically when she was underage. Like, that's
Let's point out something here, because Jacob brings a point. If you have to sit there and say that she's of age, she's too young for you. Like this idea that it's like, oh, this 19-year-old. It's like, well, 19, so it's like, well, no, this person, like Marilyn Manson was 38. Like he is a grown adult who could understand his choices. She's a situation where it's like developed at a different time, where it's like if there's a couple years difference for me, it's like I go 5 years. If you're like, if the person you're dating is 19 and you're 24, it's like, okay, you know what? I can okay with that. I think that's the max. Like, I think that'd be okay because most of our parents are a couple years, almost 5 years different. So it's like, that makes a lot of sense. But when you're like, what, almost 20?
Almost 20, yeah.
That's too much where it's like, because you're a fully formed adult. You've already made your life choices. You've already essentially fit into whatever you're going to do for the rest of your life. This person's still discovering their life. So it's like, it's predatory. Even if the person's of age. I always hate that of age. I feel like the of age is just a way for people to be like, well, the law says it's okay. It's really not.
The thing is, legal doesn't equal moral.
There we go. That's a good better way to say it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. It's like, another situation, you say the word predatorial, and it's like, I think that even if she was 25, it's predatorial to be a certain age and a certain celebrity status, and then you know that like little girls are gonna be like, oh my god, like he's a star, it's Marilyn fucking Manson, I'll fucking suck his dick and balls at the same time, like holy shit. But the thing is like he knows he's using that to his advantage here. He's using the fucking the lights and the my music videos, like it's fucking weird. Like you can't find any girl within a 20 fucking age radius between you and the 17-year-old. You couldn't find anybody else. All the women are willing to fuck you. Like, my God, that is weird as fuck. You're trying to be weird. Like, that drives me crazy. I hate that shit, and I hate that. Like, even the story, it's like, well, he abused me, and it's like, yeah, and that sucks. But we are hearing one side of the story. The thing that's not one story or one side of the story is the fact that he was dating someone who was that young, and yet like nowhere in this article is like, oh, isn't that weird? It's like, no, that's just a fact. She was that age.
It's such a weird thing because it's one of the things I hate about Hollywood is that as long as you see that all the time, it's like there are people dating people 3 times their age. Like it's like it doesn't matter as long as it's of age, and it's like how many fucking celebrities have fucking like wives that are like half their age and shit like that. It happens all the fucking time. But good thing she's 19, or technically this would be illegal. But it's like you waited to 19 because you're like, well, 18 would be too close, so we're gonna wait 19 just so people will be like, well, no, she just turned 18. No, she's been legal for a year. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. But Roxy, are you there, by the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what you feel about this.
Well, since I had my own personal experience with someone who's significantly older than me and purposely made it hard. Well, he was hard also, but that's just a small joke to get past the trauma. Hee. But this dude really made a fucking point to be like, hey, I didn't know how old you were when I first met you, but just in case you weren't of age, I already had it planned out to take you somewhere else where they don't serve alcohol. That same person also stated that if he would have met me around my high school age, granted, in this time he would have been like halfway through college, he would have gone for it.
Yeah.
So this is something that hits close to home with me, but personally, I'm not surprised. Marilyn Manson has been doing this shit for years, and like literally just now, we're up in arms about it.
Yeah, exactly. Just
like,
because another star says something, Let's ignore all the teenage girls that are saying this shit. No, fuck them, right? Let's listen to the other actress.
Well, I'm glad that she got it out. It's important that she got it out. I'm not against her on that, but like, it makes me irritated when people all of a sudden like are in a rush to like care. I understand some certain things. It's difficult to see on the surface. People tend to wear masks or tend to act a certain way because you don't want to attract attention to it. Absolutely, I get it. But the fact that like this is just now coming out and now everyone's like, oh my God, boycott Marilyn. Like you should have been doing this back in the day. Like literally, I put the link in the chat, but the one music video that he talked about releasing, he's advertised it before at a couple of concerts. It was basically, he filmed what had happened between a groupie, him, and someone else from like another band or something.
Oh, shit.
Where he literally like pissed on an underage fucking girl. He made her suck another band member's dick and did a bunch of other depraved shit with a fucking gun. And allegedly only 3 people in Hollywood saw it. And they're like, yo, you can't release this shit. I understand shock value is your shit. But if you release this shit now, you're never going to hear the end of it. Mm-hmm. And even then, to this fucking day, similar like with R. Kelly, there's going to be people that'll be like, oh no, but he make music good. I like that one song. I'm not going to cancel him off of that. Fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
This dude should have been done and over with a long fucking time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll even hear like other people. I mean, I remember even like Eminem had to find some kind of way to bring up Marilyn Manson. Granted, like the context was, him, people.
That's the part I didn't want to talk about because I know where you're going to go with, and it infuriates me because what is basically, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Nick, I'm totally wrong, but Eminem collaborated with them on a music video because this is a situation in which Marilyn Manson did weird, fucked up music, and people blamed a lot of the society's problems on him, much like they did the same with Eminem. And they're both kind of coming out. It's like, hey, we're doing our own songs. We're doing our own thing, We're not trying to influence people. But then it ends up being a situation where one is, hey, it turns out the guy just was a really fucked up drug addict, got his life together, and it's like, okay, he's doing decent well. And the other one's Marilyn Manson, who actually was doing all this shit. So it's like, it sucks when someone's like trying to be like, no, my music's gonna influence stuff, but don't look at my past.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. Like when people say, like, man, I hate censorship. It's like, no, like. Censorship can be good sometimes. Like, Marilyn Manson, I think he's a great musician. I like a lot of songs. It doesn't mean he's not a piece of shit person. And to be honest, when Eminem in that one song, The Way I Am, and he's like, you blame it on Marilyn. Where were the parents at? It's like, for one, it's not the parents fucking... what else do you say that too? Like, when you beat somebody up and you break their fucking face. Well, where are the cops at? I mean, they were here to protect and serve. They weren't serving here. It's like, maybe you shouldn't hurt people. Maybe you shouldn't be going after little girls and pissing on them. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this fucking stupid ass that thing that Roxy sent me. I'm trying to look for it again. I'm trying to stall. Where the fuck is it? I can't find it.
Well, the thing is unfortunately, like at the time when he released the song, I understood what he was going for, and it's just like for me, Marilyn Manson is always just it always just rubbed me the wrong way because I always felt like he was just trying too hard to be weird. Like that was always his gimmick. Where it's like Eminem, it's like Eminem was a fucking drug fueled crazy asshole who was just saying whatever the fuck came to his mind, and it's like one person kind of got their life together, and one person's like, no, I'm just hiding all this shit till now. And it's like, it sucks that it takes a big celebrity to do this. It's like Everett Rich is probably one of the most well-known actresses out there right now. And it took her name to get the shit, to even anyone talk about it. It's like, the worst part is, if none of the other women feel brave enough to go there, and it's unfortunately the onus has to be on them, as opposed to anyone doing any real investigation work, it's going to get forgotten in a week.
Yeah, and like, and another thing too, it's like, because someone's in the chat, and I know you're joking around, dude, but I do want to like touch on this because he says like, you can't separate the art from the artist. It sounds like Nick would also support R. Kelly. I won't, and here's the difference because, and this is why I can't support Louis C.K. anymore because he was my number one, even better than Bill Burr. He was my favorite comedian ever. But the thing is when you find out what he did and you go back and listen to some of the jokes he did, he was literally joking about shit he was really doing. That takes away that it's a joke. It's no longer a joke. Like, do you count Michael Richards, a.k.a. Kramer, going out, hate him, he's an N-word, Is that a joke? He was on stage. He was doing comedy shit. Was that a fucking joke? No, he was fucking getting paid to be a racist fuck. And like over here with Marilyn Manson, I want to show this video over here, and hopefully I don't get in trouble.
You probably will, so I recommend not.
Oh, it's all good. We're gonna throw it all in.
We're just gonna leave this image here. You can imagine the rest.
Can I add another thing to it that really bothers me about like just people who perform in general?
What's up?
I really hate when people really try to sell you on an image. Like, no, like I'm on stage, I'm on mic, I gotta do this, I gotta be this way. This is how people know me, this is how people see me. Way too often do people get that and get into that notion and get stuck into that. And of course, sometimes the crowd or fans or people who support don't know any better, so they just like what they like, right?
Well, because I think they enjoy it too. They're like, I'm trying to make him feel good about himself. Like, I need to, this is for him too, that bullshit.
But again, there's different ways of going about it. And from firsthand experience, I'm not naming names, but if you know, then you know. I've seen this shit happen with this particular person so many goddamn times. And every single time I try to like talk this person down, and don't get me wrong, it's not like you ain't shit kind of talk. It's like, hey, keep in mind, you're a person. You got a little bit of a platform. Don't let that shit get to your head. Be cool with people. Talk with them. Like, these people support you. Hang out with them. Don't get a fucking complex. But sure enough, this little beast that this person started getting bigger and bigger. And sure enough, I've seen some fucked up shit that this person has done to several people and take advantage of several others on occasion. Yeah. That's the one thing that bothers me. Don't play into that. Like, oh, it's my image, it's my thing. Because once that gets out of control, good fucking luck trying to reel it back in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, it fucking sucks. Like, I'm looking over here too. It's like this situation with Marilyn Manson doing this video. This is the new shit. I love this song, but like in this video, you know, he's showing all these girls, and she has a thong on. Trust me, because I'm like, oh, YouTube, don't you watch this part, motherfuckers. But the thing is, though, is like this whole song, he's, you know, with all these girls, he has a harem, and he's, you know, fucking all these chicks and licking their toes and all this crazy shit. Everyone's like, man, it's crazy Marilyn Manson shit. At a certain point, you can go out, make a video, and be weird, and have that be your gimmick, and then I can just get away with the fucking everything. Because I'm weird, bro. I'm just being crazy. I'm in character. Like, nah, dude, it's shitty. It's like, do you guys do that when, like, someone's an angry person in a movie? Like, if Jack Nicholson tells you to go fuck yourself, you'd be like, oh my god, Jack Nicholson told me to fuck myself. He's so nuts. It's like, no, he's being a dick, and you're the idiot who's so much of a fucking fan, you just let him do it. It's fucking stupid.
Unfortunately, people do. People will just let them get away with it because, like, oh, the celebrity is so much better than me. It's like, you also deserve a bit of respect. Now, obviously, if you're bothering them and they tell you to fuck off, now you're being an asshole. But it's that people hide behind their image. Eminem did that for decades. Like, there's a lot of shit where it's like, yo, what the fuck? If you didn't get your act together, I would stop listening to you. I stopped listening to you for different stuff. Your music sucks, but it's just like he did a lot of fucked up shit, but it's like he got his life together and he tried his best to make it better for his family. So
actually, like, I want to bring up a quick dialogue that's going on in the chat right now between I'm going to keep calling you Mystical. Either change your name or just get used to me fucking this up.
Wow.
But
he came here with his dick in his hand and he told you to be cool.
I did. And Devin the Great, basically they're talking about the idea of like, can you separate the art from the artist? And honestly, the older I get, man, I think you're just screwed either fucking way. Until this system actually fucking changes, anything you do, like, all right, let's take this out of this idea of like, yo, this guy's a rapist. Do you like Coca-Cola? You drink Coca-Cola? I like Coca-Cola. Nick, you like Coca-Cola?
It's pretty delicious.
Fuck yeah, especially when a good, Chick-fil-A breakfast, I'll let me a morning Coca-Cola. Yeah. You know how many death squads and like South American children have been work on these Coca-Cola factories and or farms to produce it so it's maintained at $1 store rate, so you don't pay $500 for a Coca-Cola bottle?
Exactly.
Like there's no ethical consumption in any of this fucking markets. Hell, there's a lot of people that think because they eat vegan, like they're like ethically consuming shit. Meanwhile, half the vegetables required to make vegan products require like shit tons of water and land to do it. That they kill like indigenous people constantly in South America to produce land for it. That's not even getting to the beef shit. I think honestly at this point, if you really want to get like really focused on like the whole like purity of like, yo, anything I enjoy, anything I like is like just completely separated from any type of badness, any type of evil, any type of that shit. I think you're really just trying to live a purity life, and I think it's going to fail. Now, don't get me wrong. R. Kelly's a good example. He's recently fucking up, continuing to fuck up, and will probably fuck up in the future until he goes to jail. So you have to make a decision then when someone is constantly at it. Like some of the artists we mentioned here, like Marilyn Manson, and I think the guy mentioned, Marisha mentioned Mouse of Men. And like these guys are active assaulters and people that have not like paid for their crimes. Now I'm gonna throw a curveball y'all way. Should we forgive Michael Vick?
Oh yeah, for the dog stuff. No.
But Michael Vick, the difference between Michael Vick is he understood what he did was wrong, and he's been actively trying to rectify that.
Still don't forgive him.
And I'll throw myself under the bus until somebody actually had to point out, because I was on the people like, yo, what the fuck? Until someone actually pointed out, like that guy's been working for charities and he's been trying to like do awareness of what's been going on and trying to get people out of that life.
That's the hardest thing to do once they take that right away for you to own animals. They don't play with that shit.
Yeah, but it's like he's actively gone out of his way to try to make sure this shit doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like obviously, yeah. Hey, don't put around dogs. Sure, that's a whatever. That's part of the punishment. But it's not like a situation where it's like, hey, can we never have this guy on a talk show? It's like, no, he is going out of his way. Like R. Kelly hid behind his fame for decades until that documentary came out. And it's like, as much as I know Nick doesn't like that documentary, I will always give points to that documentary because they literally saved a life.
Yeah.
I'm mad that no one's talking about that one football player from the Seahawks or what the fuck ever he's from, the one that almost killed his fucking girlfriend. And literally, when she was struggling for life and going to the bathroom, this dude literally stood in the fucking bathroom holding a smoothie going, "Oh, you're still alive?" And just walks away. How come no one's talking about that shit? But no, y'all got to bring up Michael Vick every goddamn second.
Yeah, exactly. That's another fucking thing. And there's so many situations like that too, Roxy. Like, they literally had to find. It was like 2 years ago. They finally like, hey, so can you guys not beat your wives? Because if you do, like, you're suspended. And it's like, wait, that wasn't the rule before. I could have beat the fuck out of my wife for the last 50 years. Well, Jesus, what have I been doing with my hands? Like, it's just like, really? That's barely a rule. We just, like, of all the shit that's happened in all these years, and so many people being killed, etc., all the coaches and all the fucking commissioners and all these people who own teams are just kind of like, oh, Vanessa died? Did you do it? Or whatever. Just make sure to throw the football.
I think at the end of the day, the whole thing is separating. I feel like when people say, I feel like the only time you ever say you got to separate the art from the artist is when the artist is a fucking piece of shit. Because, like, nobody says that for Adele. Oh, we're going to separate the art from the artist. No, what's the worst thing Adele did? She had a fucking haircut that people were like, what the fuck?
Oh, that bitch.
See,
Okay.
yeah, I can't hate her because she did a haircut that was kind of, might have been considered cultural appropriation. It's like, oh, okay.
Now, J.K. Rowling.
Oh, God. Okay, that's a perfect example.
That's a great example. Yeah. I'll say this before you go on, but like for me, because Alan likes this shit, so you guys are probably is kind of like a filter there. But I'll tell you how much I agree with him. Where I'm like, you know, those things are good the way they are. Like you guys just know J.K. Rowling did it, but it's not like her personality is in the book. Like this story, this crazy story, other people are working on it now. People are making games of it, movies of it, stories of it, whatever. I don't understand people hate Harry Potter just because of J.K. Rowling. Like if you like this shit, if you like those kind of stories, then just like it. It's not a big deal. But what are you going to say, Alan?
Well, J.K. Rowling particularly hurts me because it's not like, oh, I enjoyed the Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling was one of the inspirations for me to become a writer. Because I read Order of the Phoenix, and I read that cover to cover. I did not think books could be written. I did not think you could tell a story like this on paper. I thought the only way that you could tell a story with this much imagery was a comic book, like or on television and a video game. But the fact that there was so much depth in just the writing, I thought I want to do that. I want to do this. I want to create shit like this. So then when the stuff started first coming out, I was like, okay, you know what? You say some dumb stuff, but whatever. Everyone, like, there's a lot of information coming out, and not everyone knows what the fuck they're talking about. But then she kept doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. And it got to the point where I was like, okay, you know what? It got to a breaking point where people were asking me, it's like, hey, do you still support her? I'm like, look, she's saying some stupid shit, but nothing crazy yet. And then she just went full into the rabbit hole where she's like retweeting Nazis and shit. I'm like, I love the Harry Potter books. I love the Harry Potter world. At this point, I just forget J.K. Rowling exists. Like, that's a situation where one of my heroes, I can't even look at them. I can't even look at a photo. I can't even hear their name without getting mad. Because it's like, you ruined what was probably one of the greatest franchises ever made. There's a permanent stain on it. Forever. That's never going to go away. Because until you, like, pass away and they just forget it, like, with a freaking, like, J.R.R. Tolkien, it's like, it's going to be a permanent stain on the franchise forever. So new people are going to be like, whoa, don't do that. She's a TERF. But it's still amazing story writing. But you have to ask yourself, like, where did this stuff kind of come from the background? How much of our politics influence the writing? Because to me, it's like, can you separate the art from the artist? I'm just forgetting the artist exists. God, that situation, I don't like J.K. Rowling. I think she's a terrible person that has no fucking idea of the consequences of her words. I think that if she understood what the fuck she was saying, it would be different. But she's so quick to fucking spat out because she thinks she's king of the world that she's saying all this stupid shit.
Yeah, but for me, I mean, like, and I agree with you, you know, being mad or whatever, but, like, where I make the difference is if someone, like, if there's some kind of contingents within, like the whole Louis C.K. thing I was bringing up earlier, where it's, like, he's making jokes about the shit that he was doing, so now he just tarnished his art, because his art has became reality. But, like, I'll say like this, Stone Cold beat his wife. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's beating his wife. And I still like Stone Cold. But and granted, like, you know, there's been times he's stunned people in the ring that were female, but I mean, it's fake. And you know, he was telling them, okay, you ready? All right, I'm gonna stun you now. Here we go, bam, and he's doing a wrestling move. He wasn't beating women on the show, so I don't have no contingents or connective tissue to like we did in real life, where I'm like, oh god, that looks bad. Now let me tell you this: if Robert Englund got caught touching little boys and his character Freddy Krueger is a child molester, I can't watch Freddy Krueger anymore. He'll ruin it. Now, if he says some racist shit, I didn't see Freddy saying racist shit. So, I mean, I hate Robert, but I'm gonna watch the fuck out of Freddy Krueger. He's not racist. I think
at the end of it is like how, like when they did their fucked up thing, what happened afterwards? Because I'm surprised no one's calling me out. I'm still a huge fan of Eminem. The only reason I say less so is because his last 4 albums have been mediocre trash.
Mm-hmm.
But Eminem did a lot of fucked up things early on his career, mid-career. But then it's like, well, what happened after he almost fucking died? He changed his fucking life around, and he's become a better person as a result. Unfortunately, the music suffered, but you got to bring that up. It's like, yeah, well, what's happening with the music? The music is because you kind of see it's like he got his music from a dark place. He's not in a dark place anymore. You can't see how that's affecting his art. But him as a person, he has changed. He has moved past that. So it's like the idea of like, can I separate the art from the artist? I can't, because the artist is no longer the same person. And that's something you have to look at, where it's like with Marilyn Manson, him and R. Kelly are in the same boat to me. They hid behind their fame until somebody came out. And now Marilyn Manson's probably going to still hide behind his fame. I don't know. I hope to God that other people come out and they have the bravery to come out and expose themselves to this fucking patriarchal bullshit where the woman has to be the abuser and the victim have to be the fucking ones that come out and fucking give all this evidence, whether their entire life scrutinized, while Marilyn Manson can hide in his fucking mansion and just hope the lawyers don't fucking make it past the front door.
Yeah.
Where do you tend to draw the line is my question, because if I can bring up one person again, I don't know if it's going to be a touchy subject for anyone here, but I know it tends to be a touchy subject in certain other cultures. So say, for example, someone has done shitty things in their past, but they've contributed like positive things to society or a certain culture in general, or a certain subculture within like society. Would you excuse all the bad things that they did early and throughout their career? Does the good outweigh the bad? And the person I'm talking about specifically, David Bowie. Absolute fucking pedophile.
Ooh,
Messed around with 13-year-old girls. Specifically, young as shit. 13, 14, 15, you name it.
Damn.
Messed around with a ton of young underage girls, but because of what he did to the LGBTQ community and just the fluidity of like gender and then his performance and then being out the way that he was, a lot of people tend to just scoot everything else by. How do you feel about that?
I think that no, because his contribution to the LGBT community wasn't in response to trying to rectify his mistakes. That's to me, that's like, because again, I'd argue with fucking Michael or fucking Mystical, as Ganja calls him, about the Michael Vick situation. Michael Vick did something very fucked up, you know, he was with the whole dogfighting, but dedicated his life to trying to change that, to try to make that better. So his change to a better person was a direct result of him making a mistake. I don't know David Bowie. I honestly didn't know this. You just told me right now. I don't know if David Bowie like ever felt regret or tried to dedicate his life to changing and making that better. No. But it's like, okay, then that situation was like, yeah, sure, good thing he did this stuff for this community, but he never apologized or he never even felt like he had regret for the actual shit he did. And it's like, that's where it's like you draw the line. It's like, is there contribution as a result of them trying to fix an error, a judgment, and they're trying to make the world a better place than they caused? It's like, then you can look into that, and you can actually make that a distinction. But it was just like, hey, just kind of like R. Kelly, like what he did for music, legendary. Nobody's ever done that. I can't listen to any of his fucking music anymore. Last time I ever listened to was
every single thing is about sex. So I'm just thinking of him saying this to a fucking girl who's like handcuffed and gagged, where it's like, you know, girl, I'm gonna fuck the shit out of you, and it's like, someone call the police, like, you know, like. It's not cool. Like it tainted every single song he's ever done. Even that one song he did with Aaliyah, you know, age is not a thing. It's like it fucking should be. Like,
it fucking is. I can tell you from experience.
It's fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, you know, and yet people buy those CDs still and like, oh man, like rest in peace, Aaliyah. I'm gonna celebrate her by listening to the song where she talks about fucking a dude who probably ruined her fucking life. It's like, you guys don't get it. Like, what the fuck?
Let's not forget, people treated Aaliyah like absolute fucking garbage until she died.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't remember that. I actually do not remember.
Oh, no, I treated her like fucking trash, all because of the R. Kelly situation too.
Jesus Christ, yeah, and it's I don't know, man. Like those things. I mean, we're starting to get more and more darker here, but it's like, yeah, dude, like that. Those things are so fucking rough for me, and like that's why I think I understand where Ganja or Mauricio or Alan or lots of you guys are coming from. Where it's like, don't separate the art from the artist, because yeah, like these people are fucking garbage, and you know it is what it is. But at the same time, like, you know, some of those situations are just made worse because of just how, like, to your question, Roxy, like I don't give a fuck what good you do. You even if you didn't say that, like, oh, I'm donating all this money or helping trans people, whatever, just because I did this bad thing. It's like, no, like, I don't care that you didn't say that. You could easily be holding back on interviews. Like, fucking, no, you're doing this because you're trying to make up.
Oh, pull a Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
Jeffree Star is another example of that, too. How much fucking money is he sitting on? But just because he donated $125K to an LGBTQ homeless like community or area or what the fuck ever company in LA, then all of a sudden we're just supposed to excuse all the shit that he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Exactly. Yeah, so that's why for me, it doesn't mean nothing to me. But Jay, how about you? Like, does it ever redeem someone's shitty things when you do something so good?
It depends on how severe what they did was, because not everyone's perfect. Everyone's going to do something stupid within their life. It depends on how severe it is. Like, for example, of course she did way worse later, but people are canceling Ariana after the fucking donut licking situation where it's just like, ew, but you're over here licking donuts and putting them back? That's nasty. I wouldn't say that's career ruining. It's just something you would make fun of her for. Of course she did the whole blackfish and shit later, obviously. Mm-hmm. And that's way more like cancelable. But something on the lines of like pedophilia, rape, those ones I can't excuse. Like, that's just like, I'm not going to support you anymore. I can't do it. That's pretty fucked up, and no amount of shit that you can do will ever fix that.
What about murder?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, what about murder?
See, that's one that's actually kind of hard too, because then a lot of rappers that we listen to, it just kind of
the question is why did the murder occur? Was it a self-defense, or did they just fuck, I'm gonna shoot this dude?
I'll bring up my favorite one to bring up, and I bring it to Roxy every time this dude appears, especially in kid-friendly product, which I don't know how the fuck he does that. But Snoop Dogg, he's killed 2 people. It was a dispute. He said he was trying to, do self-defense. The prosecutor argued that it was a pretty much a gang fight between 2 rival gang members, with Snoop being the party member of one of the other members, and he killed 2 people. It was so big that he was already in his county outfits, already looking at possible like real jail time. He lucky got off because they were able to prove self-defense, so that's why he's not in jail today. But he actually killed 2 people, and he went to court for this, and it was a whole 9 yards. And it's not something like where it's like, did he really kill him? No, he killed him. It was just in self-defense.
Yeah,
I mean that's different. He was defending himself. Like,
but the situation he was defending is dubious.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, because he provoked it and then defended himself. But it's like it's again. I think like Jed has a point. It's like, what's the severity of the crime? Because again, pedophilia, rape. I think those are
of eligibility too.
Even robbery, like I can overlook too.
Well, it depends on the context of the situation. You can't just look at it and be like, "Oh, robbery bad, murder bad." You have to look at the whole situation before passing judgment.
But what about legibility? Because from my thing, I'm always embarrassed to say this, but like I kind of forgive Mike Tyson for his shit, because I really, really love Mike Tyson. And as far as the story, well, no, apparently like his wife that he was with said that he raped her.
Oh no!
Which is
I didn't know about this. I thought you were talking about the fact that he bit off dude's ear. Like, okay, he was in the middle.
Delicious. He was also a domestic abuser as well. So chadwick. He was a well-known domestic abuser as well.
Yeah, he would do interviews, and it'd be like a female interview person, and she'll be like, "So, what do you think about your fight next time?" He's like, "I think I'm gonna have a great time afterwards when I fuck you." And she's like, yeah, like it was weird. Like he would tell random people, and this is when he was married too. You know what I mean? And granted, like, yeah, it's alleged that he raped his wife, and who knows that they got into a fight. Maybe she's just like, "You're looking at other girls trying to fuck interviewers. I'm rape." You don't know what happened. Like, it is what it is. And he was acquitted of the charges. So technically, on paper, he didn't rape her. But I mean, the legibility is. Like,
I think that's where a lot of people will tend to be just like, okay, like he was acquitted of his crimes, therefore he didn't do them. Therefore, I can still be a fan of him. I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah,
I mean, Kirk brings up a really interesting point. We should just erase all the bad things someone does, and the next time they fuck up, we kill them.
Yeah. But girl, I love that. That's right.
Some people are gonna die in like a week.
Dude, have you ever seen a Canadian interview with Mike Tyson where that guy brings up the rape allegations to him?
Nah.
Yeah, it happened recently, like 4 years ago. But basically, Curl quoted here. He's like, "You seem like a nice guy, Nick. You're really a piece of shit." So basically, Mike Tyson sits down. He's talking about meeting the. What was your guy, your political guy who was like on crack and he was a big chubby guy?
Oh, Rob Ford.
Yeah, so Mike Tyson's gonna meet him and do like a whole convention thing with him or whatever, right? So he was really excited, like I'm gonna meet Rob Ford, it's gonna be fun, blah blah blah. And
Can we do some cracks, man?
yeah, and I guess don't do some crack with him. No, and then the interview guy is like, hey,
Probably.
what do you feel are you gonna hurt his chances of being mayor, because you raped somebody? And Mike Tyson's essentially just like, I'm not here to talk about that, blah blah. And he's calm at first. And then as the interview progresses, he's like, you know what, man? You said like a nice guy, but you're a real piece of shit. Yeah, you know what? Fuck you, motherfucker. Like, he's just like, he's getting angrier and angrier as the interview ends. And like the last thing you hear when the guy's like, all right, guys, well, you have a nice evening. And as soon as it fades, you just hear, fuck you. It was so perfect. The guy seems so upset, just like, all right, guys, you have a wonderful evening. Fuck you.
And it's like Mike Tyson's voice because it's not like the deep. He has a very kind of high voice. It's like fuck you. It's like, and now you can't say anything to him. We go, well, fuck you too. I mean, shit. You're like the heavyweight boxing champion of the world.
I legit have another two that people probably don't even know about. That it might trigger you. Even some people on the call here. All right, so who's a fan of Tupac and Biggie Smalls?
I think Tupac is great. Biggie Smalls, not so much.
Okay,
I know
so
Tupac's a communist.
well, besides that, Conrad fucked up at one point in his life. Allegedly, we don't know. But Biggie Smalls, I know for sure because it's gone down in a lot of memoirs as well as his own personal talking about his life when he was in the drug game selling crack cocaine. He actually did sell crack to a pregnant woman.
Oh yeah, well,
And his response was, "Fuck if someone else will do it too." Now Tupac, he has another one that's very public. You might remember in the '90s because it became a whole big thing. He was accused of raping a groupie.
Oh
In the
yeah,
90s.
I remember this too. Yeah, I think it was even part of that Tupac Resurrection fucking DVD or something like that. But
Probably. Yeah, I think I remember seeing that on there. I remember hearing a lot about that when I was a kid.
but see, so what happened with that though? Like, did he get like? I mean, did they find? Did she say like, oh, never mind, he didn't do it? Or
He actually went to jail for it, honestly. I think it was one of those that was rusted speedily. Yeah, there's some part, California's criminal justice system, especially back in the 90s, was racist as fuck. And, like, it was, it could be any kind of thing, but, like, he was in jail for it.
oh man, yeah, that's I don't know. Like, once again, I can't cancel it because it's just like I don't know. I don't want to go into like, oh, we gotta prove it.
Now that motherfucker's dead.
But that's like another thing too. It's like for one, I can be like, oh well.
Yeah,
fuck him.
do you
I
know
mean,
if
you
got
can
the
cancel
debt?
now, like he did.
Well, you could easily you easily did that with Michael Jackson. Remember when Michael Jackson died and they redid some of the court stuff? They were like canceling his music off of like radio stations weren't allowed to play it and shit like that. It was you could cancel someone after they died. Like that's not an impossible thing.
Well, look at even after the fucking that Chasing Neverland. What's that shit called? Leaving Neverland. Completely opposite of where we were going. I'm like, chase it. No, get away.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Run the opposite way from Neverland.
Running towards pedophilia land.
I can never watch Peter Pan now.
Yep.
Oh.
What?
I can tell you
Neverland.
the ride at Disney's fun.
Michael Jackson comes out at the end and tries to diddle you.
No, stop it.
You're right.
That's
No,
how
Rocky,
it
Rocky.
ends.
He's kidding. He actually comes out and starts singing about the red man.
He moonwalks, with the red man. That's how he gets you. You don't see it coming. What is this pale-faced man? My drunk?
But my real question is, where is Method Man on the ride? How you
What?
gonna have Red Man but not Method Man?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I got the reference right away, but I was like, wait, is there really a ride with those two? Because I want to go on it. Like, and
I would go on the.
it's like, how high does this roller coaster go?
That's what I was gonna say. How high?
I just picture you just going around like, oh, what makes the red man ran? And out of nowhere, it's just these two like hanging out in an apartment with like a bong on the table. Like, yo, bro, how did you get here?
Could you imagine the fucking like Red Man and Method Man ride where you just gotta go in the roller coaster and then a bunch of smoke comes in, but it's weed smoke. You're like, you guys like to turn up? Now we're gonna go through the bong and it's just a water fucking like.
Yeah.
Oh god, this is so gross.
The closest experience I had to it was I got high at Universal and I rode the Simpsons ride. Shit's great.
Oh,
She's looking at donuts and shit like that. It looks good right about now. It's
Oh,
classic.
she was peeking when we are on the ride and before the drop down, and like she started like kind of laughing real loud, and I was like a little scared that she was like, "Oh, I hope she's not going south." And I look over, she's just laughing like a little girl to the point that the actual little girl behind us, with her mom, goes to her mom, "She's having a real fun time, mom." I started dying laughing. I don't even remember the rest of the ride. I just laughed my ass off the whole ride.
God, that's so sweet though. Just being on drugs. That's beautiful. But But the thing is, yeah, like I don't know, this fucking show. I just realized it's an hour and 40 minutes. I'm gonna give me some fucking ramen. So here's the thing, though, guys. We're gonna go. The Marilyn Manson thing's fucked up, etc., etc. But I'm gonna have, you know what? Because Ganja did such a good job last time. Ganja, why don't you do the honors with the Metropolis?
Literally did a horrible job.
Metropolis. Got the Illuminati podcast from me, Alan. Check Zine, the co-host here, has no fucking faith in me apparently. And my other co-host who has great faith in me, the great Ruthless Wonder, talking about politics, cultural stuff, all kinds of shiznit. So go check that out. We also got the new podcast. We got Metro Sportscast with Cedric Frail Williams. Go check that shit out. You got good sports. He'll teach you how to hedge his bets for $5.
Does he know that that's not his name?
We know that when he said this co-host doesn't have faith in me, but my other one, Ruthless, wow, I guess just throw Nick under the bus. Fuck
I
Nick.
was talking about the Illuminati show. I didn't know Nick was a co-host, but welcome aboard.
To be fair, I have no faith in anybody.
Yeah,
Go off on someone in the new episode, so if you want to catch that, go right on ahead.
But yeah, no, definitely check that stuff out, guys, and get on them about making it live. I'm gonna do a whole thing where I get everybody against Ruthless and then Ganja and everybody else, and be like, hey, do it live. It makes sense. Goddamn, I want you guys to succeed. Anyways, music's playing. Oh, look at that. La, 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 la. Oh, it looks so beautiful. I gotta change it one day though. It's been like fucking 4 years. Bye.
Woo!
And yeah, don't listen to Marilyn Manson anymore. You know, it's pretty fucked up. See ya. Go.